What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Colxrless, and I'm back with another video for you guys. And today I will be doing class setups. I know I did this before, but I did it from an AR Slayer standpoint. So today I'm going to be doing it from a sub player standpoint, just in case you were wondering. Now these are sub Black Slayer classes. OBJ would have different classes, or a few different classes. A few of them would be the same, but a few would be a lot different. And again, depending on your role on the team, it will depend if you're running stuns or if you're running Semtexes or if you're just running tactician with trophy. It just depends on how your team plays and what your team wants you to run. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and hop into this. My first class is my Slayer class. And all these subclasses are basically the same as the AR classes, except they're ASM 1. And a few things will be different here and there. But my first Slayer class is just basic. Foregrip, quick draw, advanced rifling, lightweight, fast hands, toughness, blast suppressor, overclock, and 2 stun grenades. I really like this class. This is a class that I run a lot off break. But yeah, if I know they're running trophy, or if they're running nades or stuff, I'll throw on trophy class. And my second Slay class, again, this is the same as that class, but instead of 2 stuns, it's got lightweight and flak jacket. And this is basically just for when they're running trophy system. So when you're stunning the hill, they keep getting blocked by trophies, or if they're running hardwired. So and it's really not affecting anything, and you can run flak jacket instead, so that you're not getting hit by nades or anything, just in case. So that's just because having stun grenades, if they have trophies, is just redundant. It doesn't do anything for your team at all. But having flak jacket could save your life. So I just run that. And then my hardwire classes are the exact same. My hardwire class is the same as my Slay class, except instead of blast suppressor, I have hardwired. And I run this whenever I'm getting stunned out of my mind. I would suggest you try to stay away from this class unless you're like uplink or something. But I'd suggest stay away from this class as much as you can, because if you don't have on blast suppressor and they slay your team out, excuse me, I had a yawn. And they slay your team out, you're all gonna spawn. And if you're the only person that doesn't have blast suppressor and you start jumping around, then they're gonna know, as I get a party invitation, they're gonna know where your whole team spawned at. So, and they'll be able to look that way. So that's really not very good. But if they're just stunning the heck out of you, I'm talking about running 8 stuns and just stunning you crazy, then you pull out this class. And then my second hardwire class is the same thing as my Slay 2 class. The same thing, but it doesn't have stuns. It has flak jacket instead, just in case they're nading. But this class isn't as good as the Slay 2 class would be, because if you're getting stunned like crazy, then chances are they won't have many Semtexes. And if they do, it'll probably be the AR. And they'll probably be trying to Semtex the other AR and try to get spawns. At least that's how I see it. My next class is a little different. It's my ball carrier class. Now you can change this if you want to. You can like mix it up in many different ways, and I'll explain that here in a second. But it's the same thing as the hardwired class, except instead of 2 stuns, I'm running tactician and trophy. I do this because a lot of the times when you're ball carrier, they'll throw stuns at you, they'll throw EMPs at you and stuff. And I know if you have hardwired, it doesn't affect you, but it can still affect your teammates. So if your whole team's running the ball, and your whole team should be running hardwired, but if you have a few teammates that aren't, they're running blast suppressor for some reason, then the trophy system will really help them out, because if you die, they can pick up the ball and dunk it instead of having to throw it in. This class is really good, but you could take off overclock and just put on trophy and run 2 stuns. So if you're the only one alive with the ball and there's like 1 or 2 people there, you can stun them and then just running for the dump because they can't see you. But if they're running hardwired, that really wouldn't work. So I guess you can make 2 classes, one with overclock and trophy, and one with just overclock and 2 stuns. But one with overclock and 2 stuns would basically just be the hardwired class. So I had this class. This could be considered an OBJ class too, just for sitting in the heel and hard point. But I just use it for uplink mainly, because I am a Slayer and not an OBJ. And so hopping in my search and destroy classes, I actually just did change these up a little bit. My first one is my one with trophy system and 2 stuns, and this is one mainly for defense. If I'm camping a bomb site and I feel like they might be on the bomb, instead of having to peek and risk my life, I can just throw a stun around the corner and detonate it and see if I get a hit mark. And if I do, I know they're there and I can call it out, and my teammates can rotate over. But if I don't, I know they're not there. And this is just a class where I'm not risking my life with the stuns. I'm not risking my life or getting picked. It'd be different if I was getting a trade, but you never know. So I just use stuns instead. And if you get 2 stun hit markers, you can peek around the corner maybe. That might be disorienting a little bit, but if they're running hardwired, they'll still be able to get some shots off at you. But if they're not, you can peek around and maybe get a 2-piece or however many are there. But I would suggest you just sit and wait on your teammates. Now my second search and destroy class for my SM1 is my trophy frag class. And this class is like a riot class, but an ASM1. So if I'm using ASM1 on riot, I would run 2 frags and a trophy system, because on riot there's a lot of nade spots and everybody's gonna be nading across the map at the beginning. So you really need a trophy system. And I'm one of the frag players on my team if we're gonna be running flags. And I actually use this class a lot. Just because I usually run frags a lot and try to get picks. But my next class is my overclock trophy class. This is the class that I use if we're doing like a rush plant. Say on solo, we're going rush planting A. I'll turn on overclock, turn on trophy, and I'll just rush. And try to get a pick or try to get traded or something like that. And I just rush because a lot of times I'll throw nades over towards white van. Do you have on trophy? That'll definitely stop that. Alright, so the next class right here is my overclock mute device class, and this is the class where if we're gonna do a flank or something. So if we're on riot, and you know the preferred bomb side is A. So say we always call, alright, we want to have one person go to A and just try to stall them for a second while 3 of us can go on flank. So this is the class that I use when we're going on flank, and I have a mute device so they can't hear me going on flank. Because there are a lot of spots, like I know there's a spot in bench room where you can sound horse somebody that's in mid really nice. I just figured that out while I was goofing around one day with my friends. But the next class is my sniper class. This class I use on riot mostly, solar, Troy. I use it on basically every search and destroy. Just try to get picks if trading isn't really working out for us. But I really do feel really comfortable with a sniper. I feel like I'm good with it. I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm good with it though. So I use overclock and trophy so I don't get naded off of like a sniper spot, and so I can get to the sniper spot faster and watch the cross better, or get to the cross spot quicker. And just a basic lightweight, fast hands, toughness, blast suppressor, and I use that on all my search and destroy classes. Everybody should, but I use a PDW with advanced riot flame. You can use the Atlas 45 if you want to, but I prefer the PDW. And yeah, that's basically my sniper class. And I'm hopping into my AR classes for a sub-slayer, because even though you are a sub-slayer or OBJ, you are going to need some AR classes just in case the opponent's running 4 ARs for some reason. The first class is just a basic AR class. You're going to have bow, stock, forward, quick draw, lightweight, fast hands, touch, blast, pistol, overclock, and 2 stuns or 2 grenades based on what your teammates need, or based on what your team needs at that point. And this is basically the same thing as a sub-slay class. But on my bows, I don't have a slate 2 or anything because I'm not going to be using it that much. So the only reason I'd be really using my bows is if they're running 4 bows. So if they're running 4 bows, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be running too many trophy systems, so I wouldn't have to really worry about it. So hopping into my uplink class, this is like a Colxrless class. This is the same exact class Colxrless uses. Bow 27, stock forward, quick draw, lightweight, fast S, toughness, hardwired, overclock, and 2 Simtexes. This class is really effective for uplink. I don't know why, but I feel like Simtexes work so good in uplink, and if you are AR Slayer, you would definitely even need to try this class out because it is really good. My next class is my AR S&D class. This is my trophy 2 frags. Is basically for riot exclusively. Sometimes I use it on solar and stuff, or if I'm trying to get nades. But this class is really good for riot search and destroy, because riot's a bow map. Most of the time, everybody's gonna be running a bow except for maybe one player. And you run trophy and 2 frags, you just nade across the map, and they can't do anything to you because you're running a trophy. My next class is the same thing as my ASM1 class for the flank. You run an overclock and mute, just flanking around the enemy, trying to get behind them, and doing whatever I can to do that fast. And this is my last class right here. It's called DB, stands for douchebag. I think it was in my last one. This is for if the opponent's running overkill, if they're running a melee or something, I'll pull out this class and run overkill with them. And this class is really good. I just have it on here. I don't use it if we're losing or anything. I only use it if the opponent is using it too. So I really suggest you have a safe class like this just in case the opponent's using something retarded and overpowered, so you can pull out something like that too. You could make it a melee class too, but that is all of my classes. I really could care less about making all the other stuff. Oops. But just gonna cancel that. Those are all my classes, guys. I hope you did enjoy, and I hope you learned something from this and maybe made one of my classes and use it. Let me know if you did in the comments below. G50 is on right now, guys, so I tried not to take too much time on this video. But I'll see you guys later. I'm Colxrless, and I'm out.